Hello, today I'm going to show you how to shade with your ink pen, and we're going to create an asteroid with some cute little alien guys in it. And I have this handout that I got from my drawing book of Drawing in 3D with Mark Chrysler, and he does some really fun cartoon drawings. And he doesn't say you have to shade with ink pen, but we've just been doing the unit of shading with ink, so I thought this would be a fun little thing to do. And you can add a lot more aliens and do these in all different colors. My sample that I did, I was just using a purple ink pen because that's what I had with me. You could do black and many other values in it. I've had red ones where we've also shaded with some black in it to help get that shadow effect that you're going to be creating with this. And what you need is obviously some ink pens. If you want to start the first few steps out with a pencil, you can. But what we're going to do is I have my 12 by 18 piece of paper ready, and I have it in the horizontal format. I grabbed just a styrofoam plate so I can trace the circle of what will be my asteroid. So you want something that's about 8 inches. If you don't have this, maybe a lid. Ice cream buckets, lids work really good too. So just trace this, and I'm just going to do everything in ink pen so you guys can see what I'm doing, because pen shows up a little bit better than our pencil does. And then what I'm just going to do is follow through the steps. So I have that traced. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to start drawing some little ovals, and they're all different sizes throughout, but we want them to go with the curve of our little asteroid is going. And then I have about a circle one in the inside, but I'm going to do different ovals. So let's start with one up here, and then a couple of others, and out here. And I'm just putting them different places and different sizes. But notice how I'm following around this. Let's put one out here. So we have some things coming out of our little asteroid. This one, because it's more centered on, I'm going to make it an actual circle. Because as things change, as we're going around a curve, they're going to start turning into those ovals or ellipses. Do a couple down here. And I'm just looking at the handout here and just kind of following what they are, but adding a few more. So once we have this step done, what we're going to do next is we need to add in some little tiny mountains. So these would be the craters, and our mountains are going to be what we are going to do for the little triangle pieces. So I'm talking about these right here. So these are the craters that I started drawing here. Now we need to add our little mountains that we're going to do. And notice they're not a perfect triangle. So give them some kind of wavy lines. If you want to add in some other designs in your asteroid, you can do this too, but add in what this has. So I'm going to start adding in some mountains. What I'm going to do now for the sides of my craters, or you can think of them as like volcanoes, I'm not going to make them straight down. I'm going to have them kind of come out. So they're like angling out, kind of like they're looking like tree stumps right now, and they could be going in front of each other. So think these are the ones closest to here. Maybe they go out this way. And I'm not giving anything straight lines. So I'm going to do it this way. And when I'm laying these out, I'm then going to want to put in those mountains too. And this will have just a small one that I'm going to go this way. Just have fun with your little wavy lines. Like this one's going to go over the other one. That's fine. And when we start shading, it will all start coming together of where we put our highlights and lowlights. So I got one mountain. We want to put a whole bunch of others. So let's start with, here's one. But I need to think of things are like going around on the other side of this asteroid. So I would have some back here. You have more coming up and around. This way we're giving it more of a 3D effect by putting these different ones throughout. Let's do a couple over here. That's going to really fun with this of making them all different things. What kind of little aliens are you putting in this? What are your little alien creatures going to be doing? So once you have this step done, you want to, in your little craters, think of what is close to you and what's further away. But we need to make this look like it's three-dimensional too. So where I have these wavy lines, I'm going to start following that curve, but not perfectly, but I'm going to start giving it some contours. What I'm also going to do is if we put things like this in, and I'm getting closer here, but further out, and then do some lines in the inside, like you're going to, but I'm just doing this so you can see right now, you're starting to give it an edge, 3 dimensions. So the viewer, which is you, what are you seeing? So this is close, and this would be further away. So you'd see more of the top right here, and then do some of your lines going through here. And once you start shading these, it's going to come together more. And this is when you can draw in your little creatures too. I'm just going to keep doing a ring inside first. And then I'm going to do more of following the curve here because this is what would be getting shaded in. So ring in it first. And then I'm going to do, because this is the furthest part away, I'm going to follow that curve. And this is what would be getting shaded inside. Do some of these lines here. Ring. And then I would repeat it right here, and this was the furthest part away from the center. So here, because it's more of the center, you'd be seeing this full one here. But then this is when you could add in your little creature or something. So what I'm going to do is add my eyeballs first. Then I'm going to put a curve here and a curve here, kind of like you're drawing a little frog. And then if we would follow this, I'm going to have the curves go up and over. So its little hand is coming up and over it. So maybe this is a friendly little alien here. Give him some little hair, add your own details. And you can make a whole bunch of different types of aliens that you want. And then I'd be like some little shading on the guy. And you can make him different colors if you're doing your black planet or whatever asteroid that you've decided to do. Maybe make them colorful. But what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to focus on this one right now. This is where I would start curving. And I'm putting shading in this because this is dark in the inside. If you ever watched the show Fraggle Rock, it's from the 80s with Jim Henson created it. These little guys kind of remind me of the Fraggle Rock guys. Little Muppets. And then you would just keep shading more and more. And cross-hatching is, remember, the more lines you put, the darker something's going to get. So if it's inside here and it's not seeing any light, that's where it's going to be really dark. But what I also want to do is just a little bit of shading underneath his hand. Here and here. So it creates a little shadow. But I'm going to give shading on the fingers here. even shading in the eyeballs if you wanted to. A little bit underneath. And then for here, you would still continue doing your ovals. And it's all about the shading when we're doing this. So this is going to get, we could go to here and probably fill it in. Then I'm going to bring some lines just out this way to help. But then still curve. So I'm curving in the inside. Underneath the part, this is where I would be shading more. And it's just about the shading line. So you're gonna spend a little bit of a time doing this. Put on some good music that you like. Jam out and crosshatch away. Then add some other aliens, add more contour lines for your mountains going in. Give it that definition of coming up from the ground here. And you're gonna just shade everything. So think of where it's going to be lighter and where it's going to be darker. So I'm gonna put the highlights more on this area, and it would have been darker down here. But I do have this one kind of came together, so we could add some curves to it here. Getting that dark part inside our little volcano kind of shaped things. And you're just going to keep layering more and more. But this comes then, say, over this way. So as you're going, you're just going to kind of keep adding lines to where you're wanting your landscape to go. So I could do these little tiny ones far in the distance here. So I'm going to go around with which shape that I think this little mountain's taking place. So I'm following it, but then what I'm going to do is also put some diagonal or vertical lines in it. Further in the back, put some more, have this come down. It's all about layering, so I'm going to spend some time doing this, but what I'm going to do is re-show you the one I had done here. So looking at it, if you look at this, you can see I have it to where it's shaded, then it's like getting lighter like our value scale would, and then right on the edge part, so remember the thickness of how wide you're having those openings would be the more highlighted. So I have here, because you're going to do the back of it too, my light source is here because you're going to shade the whole back of it, so it's lighter here, so this part is light. So this is the part shining onto here, so the opposite side will be darker. So these little mountains and caverns and stuff are going to be the darker parts. And then down here in the sky is going to be darker also. And what I have for you to do is, and I have this as the little handout here. So you're going to create, see my little alien guy I have there? He's peeking in on us. So you're going to do the asteroid here in the cross-hatching method. Follow the little handout steps. And what I've shown here, draw lightly with a pencil first if you feel you need to. And then you're just going to keep shading with ink. So you must have 2 in this. So we did the 8-inch diameter by tracing that little lid. So you need at least the 13 craters, which are these little open things. And you need at least 9 mountains. So the mountains are the little triangles. See my little alien peeking through? And then you need at least 2 aliens. So here's some little other ones that I did. So see how I changed the color of this guy? And you could do many colors. So if I have, because I'm using black right now, I could go in and find, here would be some other colors that we could layer in on top of some things. So if I have a lighter blue, maybe I want these to be blue. So I would be still using black if you want to, because black would help if you have a lighter color to be your shading. So we could do a couple of colors in that. And I'll do this because this would be where the highlighted area is, because I'm going to have my light kind of source up in the corner here. So I could get going with the blue here as my lighter colors. And spend more time on it than what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to show you some little things you can do. And use a wide variety of ink pens. Like if you have gel pens, you could do those. Some people like ballpoint pens. I use a combination. Even like at the dollar store, you can get some really good ink pens. Some are even those gel pens that you can get where the ink comes out really nice. Good old regular ballpoint pen like what I have here. You could just put some purple in it if you wanted to help get some of that shading to go, to add definition. See, by just adding some other colors, it's starting to make it look a little bit more realistic here. If you add reds, you could do, to make it lighter, you could add some yellow and orange to it. Even if you had greens, if you have a variety of green ink pens, like the light greens and the dark greens, that would look really cool also on it. Oops, it was already clicked. So if I just make these blue here. And notice when I'm doing these, I am following the contour of things. But what I'm going to do is keep going back and forth with my different colors, and I'm going to go back in with the black. Because now I've added some color, I can kind of see areas better. But because I've done this, now it's like, oh, I really can't distinguish between that top edge of something. How do I get that back? Well, what I'm gonna do is, you could go in with your purple some more if you wanted to. Put some curves there, but what I'm going to do is go back with my black, fill this in more here, and then just give slight, you could even do some vertical lines here. And I'm not going on the outer edge top part, I'm just going to go around what would be the inside of it. Then I'm going to go underneath right here. And it's about layering, stepping back. If you ever done pointillism or even other cross-hatching, step away, see if you can see it from a distance, and if not, that means you need to put more lines. So it's just stepping back, looking at things. How are your objects looking? So you can see here, I just kept layering and layering. And you could even do some little squiggly, it's not just straight across. So I did some little swirls and stuff in there. It's whichever you find is your method that you like the easiest. Sometimes when I'm doing this, it's a lighter movement with everything, back and forth, curving. So just keep working on it. And then the darker you get, remember, the more shading it adds, it will make it look realistic. And include your highlights and things. So you have a light source, making it lighter, opposite side, it will have the darker of it. Enjoy your cross hatching.